Welcome back to the program, everybody. It's about time that we talk about the Iran and U.S. strikes against Iran today that will probably be happening throughout the night. The president has said that they are not keeping it together and they don't know what they're doing. And the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has now said they're going to be busy tonight in the CENTCOM. So let's get to that when we come right back.
We pray for love and unity, and that the church would find new zeal and commitment to the mission and purpose of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You're a liar! You're a liar!
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart.
It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen, for the Political Pulpit. I'm your host, Josh Navarrete, and it's good to be back here in the big studio in front of the nice screen. So today we're talking about Iran and U.S. strikes. We have a lot of other things to go through. We're going to give you news that has come through the news wire. And I want to remind you guys to go to www.politicalpulpit.com to check on today's news. You can also subscribe to our newsletter to get things in your mailbox as it happens. This is unbiased news from a biblical perspective. And this is also a way for pastors and faith leaders to have their voices heard. So you'll hear from other different voices, not just mine and the news team. Also, to our partners, thank you for making this happen. Without you, we could not be here. So thank you to all of our Political Pulpit partners. You can check us out at thepoliticalpulpit.com/partner to find out how you can be part of this movement. Also, we have Fresh Fire Ministries launching from this. It's a ministry arm of the Political Pulpit Media Company so that we could still do ministry, preach the gospel, and do the Lord's work. Now, if you're watching us live, hit that subscribe button and make sure you get in the comments and do us a favor, type in Fresh Fire or let us know where you're watching from. There's a lot happening today, and as things heat up and things get serious, we want you to be on top of the news of the day. There are other things like exposing fraud and election fraud. That's the topic outside of the war of the day, because it looks like we are exposing fraud. I wish I could tell you that the DOJ is coming down, the FBI is performing raids, and everybody is being exposed. That's not how it works in America. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, red tape, and so forth. But instead, we have influencers that are taking matters in their own hands, like James O'Keefe and Nick Shirley. And there's other fractions of people that are out on Skid Row interviewing people that live out on the streets and finding out that they're getting paid to vote for specific people. And most of the time, they don't even know who they're voting for. They're just voting or putting their names down or putting somebody else's names down. The other thing that they're doing is signing petitions. They have no idea what these petitions are for or who they are for, but they're getting paid $2 or $3 to do so and signed other names. And this is all being uncovered by not policemen, not investigators, not FBI directors, or not the DOJ. This is by people like you and I that have a voice. And so I want to encourage everybody to not be silent, to expose fraud and speak the truth, because without your voices like the ones we're about to show, we wouldn't know what was going on. We would just think, yeah, it's all normal. You know, voting one day and getting results a month later, like in Maricopa County, or days later, weeks later, like in LA County. So how about people like you and I go out and expose the fraud? All right, so we're going to talk about that and many things to come. But I want you guys to keep in mind that there is something happening in this world that is very interesting and not like something we have seen before, from UFO conversations and aliens. And now they're categorizing these groups of aliens that have come down to Earth, and we've shot things down in aircraft that we can't explain. We have voter fraud. There's earthquakes and world tragedies that are happening across this earth. And what about the persecuted Christians that are in Nigeria? There's Islamic extremists that are killing Christians, burning down churches nonstop. And we aren't talking about it because it's things like the New York Knicks who lose in New York, and then the town residents destroy their city for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but what I do know is God is coming very soon, and the church needs to be very vigilant and prayerful, not fearful, but ready, and to continue to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, because that's what's important. And what's also important is that you know what's going on. So let's start with the news of the day. All right, let's cue up what we have first. Legacy media keeps asking, where is the evidence of voter fraud, instead of doing their jobs and actually investigating? Independent journalists are doing their jobs for them, and what they're finding is insane. The homeless are being paid for their information, and then people are voting for them. This is clearly an entire operation, and we're only beginning to find out the truth. This one's by Jakey, exposing mayoral election voting fraud in Los Angeles. Homeless individuals across the city are being paid a couple of bucks in exchange for their personal information and signatures, which then gets used by an unknown party to fraudulently cast votes. So it's a 2-for-1. You get someone's name, you get someone's signature, and you can cast a vote. This is a long video. We'll only play clips of it. But this is proof. These are interviews to show you what's happening in the streets of California. Go ahead and roll it.
Very clear fraud in the mayoral election that's happened here in Los Angeles, California. So today we went on Skid Row, and you're not going to believe what we found. Did anybody ever approach you, like from the city, offering to pay you money to vote for someone specific in the new mayor election? We spent about an hour just walking around and talking to some of the people on Skid Row, asking if they've heard or if they've been approached by anybody offering money to vote for a specific candidate.
They asked me to vote for someone, but I never. Shit, retard next.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
I know I've seen you around. I've seen you in Hollywood a few times.
Yeah, bro.
Bike. How am I gonna be retarded without my bike? Hey, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah, of course, bro.
I'm just snapping, bro. Oh, you good?
So just for context, this guy was actually passing by, and he shouted retard max, and he recognized me from my videos. And so I stopped by to chat with him really quickly because he lives on Skid Row.
But I come over here just like make money and shit.
So have you heard of anybody, like especially the homeless or the less fortunate, being paid to like sign a petition to vote for someone specific over like the last week?
No, but they do come down here and do voter fraud.
They do?
Yeah, they come down here and they get your information, and then they vote for you.
So they get all the information from people on the street
It's
or
like a known
whatever,
thing.
write
Straight
it down, and then they go in and vote for them.
But they'll pay you too. So it's like some people will give you $3, some $5, straight up. They say they're, what is this for? Oh, it's just for voter stuff and voter info and stuff like that. They know these motherfuckers ain't voting.
Have you seen it happen?
Language.
Yeah, I filled it out and did it.
Damn. And were you paid?
Yeah. I don't know they don't tell you who they're voting for. They don't tell you what they're doing with it. Have you went down Crocker Street yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's where I stay right whenever I'm down here making moves.
You're good in these ends?
Yeah, everybody knows me down here.
Did they approach you for this election, this mayoral election?
Yes, I would say it was about 2 months ago.
2 months
Less
ago.
than 2 months ago, a month.
If you get a hold of your homie that's done the
I'll text
voting,
you.
thing, hit me up.
I will.
I'll text you right now.
I got you.
All right, you can pause it there. So there's one account. They go through the city and talk to multiple people and find out that they're getting paid a few bucks, even up to $5 just for a signature. So I don't know if, people in Arizona, those are our friends that are watching here, if you've been approached by those that are seeking signatures to fight the ESA program, you want to decline to sign that, because that's trying to skim it down and make it hard for families to choose their own schools and their own path of education for their kids. Now, if anybody offers to pay for your signature, then you got a bigger problem. But that's what they're doing in California, walking the streets, walking Skid Row, and offering these homeless people for their signatures, and then they go and vote for them because of mail-in ballots. That is voter fraud. I don't think anybody with their right mind would think that voter fraud is okay in any county, in any state, or any election. That's why the president has now announced that they're moving towards federalizing our election process, which I think is going to be very chaotic. But man, we got to do something, because coming up to these midterms, if there's going to be instances like this, especially in California and other states, then we got a big problem. And so something has to be done. Here it says, amazing. President Trump has just called for elections to be federalized. This is massive. Secure our election integrity. Go ahead and play it.
15 states are you talking about?
I want to see elections be honest, and if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them. And by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020. Look at the facts that are coming out. Rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Pennsylvania. Take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved. These are agents of the federal government to count the votes. If they can't count the votes legally and honestly, then somebody else should take over.
But the Constitution says it should be states that administer elections, Mr. President.
Yeah, so that's going to be the challenge, is the constitutionalists and the judges that are going to fight any type of federalization of our election system. All right, let's take a look at the next one because we got a lot to get through. We have things that you won't believe. President Trump just said more evidence on the rigged 2020 election is coming soon. They rigged the election, the second election. Most of you know that happened, and now it's been proven, and it will be proven as time goes by even more so. So that's the clip that we just watched. We are more than ready. Release the files when it comes to the 2020 election. That's really when I started noticing something was up with our country. It was shortly after then I really got involved in voter registration and realized what an honor it is to register people to vote and to get them involved in civic engagement, especially the American church. And that's what we did. We went into different churches and registered people to vote because really, when you think about it, when the church starts to vote, then moral decay is defeated, because that's what's happening in this country is the churches aren't getting involved like they should. They're not voting. There's a big number, a big percentage of church goers that are registered to vote that just never show up to the polls, which is crazy to me because your values, your principles, your biblical principles matter in every election. You need to know what you're voting for and what policies these politicians are standing on and running on, because they get to D.C. and they just ruin everything, it seems like. Or they get to your local state house and it's the same. And of course, your local elections are even or is just as important. All right, next. In a massive development, California is being required to return over $1 billion in federal health care funds spent on services for illegal migrants, according to federal audits. Roll it.
California, the Trump administration says the state owes the federal government more than $1 billion for health care given to illegal immigrants. William Lajeunesse has the story from L.A. Hi, William.
Well, Dana, there are two stories here, right? One is how rising costs have forced blue states to roll back health care for those without legal status. The other is the White House crackdown on eligibility. If states can't confirm those getting care are U.S. citizens, they have to pay the feds back.
We are auditing aggressively, and we don't like what we see.
In March, the Trump administration began auditing states that provide illegal immigrants with routine health care paid for by American taxpayers. Their findings? 7 states and the District of Columbia owe nearly $1.4 billion for using federal, not state money for immigrant care. Topping the list, California, followed by New York and Illinois.
What's crazy to me is if you go to a different country, you have to buy your own insurance or pay for your own health care. And, you know, there are some other countries that are very socialistic and just share everybody's money and hard-earned money and pays for your health care. But look at the country as a whole. Our country is turning into just that, where you can be an illegal immigrant or somebody that's not documented, does not have their citizenship, and you get your health care paid for. Where there's people like us, myself and my family, who are self-employed and work really hard, have to pay for our own health care, or sometimes go without insurance because it's just too expensive, and we pay cash when we get to, you know, a clinic or emergency room, which thank God for his provisions and for his covering, because when you are walking in the presence of God, you don't need to go to the hospital. He takes care of you. He really does. And he takes care of your finances too. But unfortunately, there's people that come in and think they're owed everything and get paid for everything. And it's terrible and it's a bad idea, especially for the American tax dollar or taxpayer. All right, let's see what's next. Trump just blew the lid off California's election rigging. The only reason they approved Steve Hilton in California was because the heat was on them. Democrats were literally trying to steal the runoff from him. just like they did to Spencer Pratt. They dragged their feet for 2 weeks until Trump started calling them out as cheating like dogs. Then, poof, sudden approval overnight. They got caught red-handed. No more hiding. This is straight-up election theft in broad daylight. If they'll do it to Hilton, they'll do it to everyone. Pass the Save American Act now or kiss fair elections goodbye forever. Play it.
I voted in favor of that. It's really a shame, and it's so bad for the country. You'd almost think they hate the country because they can't. They're not stupid people. You can't cheat like they did. The election in California, as an example, after a week, they determined that the kid who's leading and had all the mojo, all of a sudden he doesn't make the runoff. And then I hit them hard on that, but I started talking about Steve Hilton, who's a fantastic guy. And I saw them say it was going to be 2 weeks before they knew. And I started hitting them. It's going to happen to Steve Hilton, too. It's watch. You got to watch. And they approved Steve Hilton very quickly. They didn't want it. There was too much heat on him. The only reason he got approved, he had all the votes he needed, probably to be first place. But the only reason they approved Steve Hilton, it was going to be 2 weeks. They said it. And then they approved him that night because the heat was on them, because they're cheating dogs. And you can't have a great country when that happens. That's why Los Angeles, that's why that state is in such trouble. It's the most.
And that's what I get worried about Arizona, is Maricopa County. Just real quick to the producers, when you guys switch from side by side, you might as well hit the transition so it doesn't sputter and you can go to full screen. But the other thing too is that Maricopa County is very frustrating because it seems like it's leaning towards the same issues. You know, it takes them almost a month sometimes to count certain elections. I think the last one, the Senate, I think it was the presidential one or the one right before that when we were voting in senators, midterms, it took forever. And they're always saying, oh, it's the last minute drops. What are they dropping in these buckets, man? Every vote should be tracked and counted, and everyone should be able to see where their vote went. And if you are assigning fictitious signatures and people that are 126 years old voting, then you got a serious problem on your hands. And the pressure and the heat needs to be on all through the midterms, because this is a make it or break it for this entire administration and all that we're fighting for. And I think, honestly, you'd have to be crazy to not want good, honest elections in America. All right, next. Just in. Elon Musk just said the Save America Act is the only way to save democracy in America. Senator Mike Lee, Senator Republicans should focus on nothing else until it becomes law. Well, they're right. The Save America Act is controversial only among Democrats in Congress. Everywhere else, it's common sense. We just proved it can get 50 votes in the Senate. It just needed 60. If the filibuster were gone, this would be law. So they're struggling to get the Save America Act done because there's a lot of hoopla and different hoops and red tape. But the main thing here is we need 60 votes, and we're only getting like up to 51. So there's Republicans in there that are just not budging. Go ahead and play that clip.
On this vote, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 49. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn have not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to. The point of order is sustained and the amendment fails.
Thank you.
All right. It didn't work. The amendment failed. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next one. J.D. Vance just said loud and clear that we are no longer pretending that America first includes any other country. If you're an American, your country is the United States of America, not a place that you immigrated from. Roll it.
I had somebody who came up to me.
Yeah, it was good.
And I'm sure a great person, like a wonderful person. It was a Ukrainian American in Cleveland, Ohio. I was campaigning for the Senate. There are a lot of Ukrainian Americans in Cleveland, Ohio. And this person got really agitated at me because I was saying we should stop funding the Ukraine war. Okay? And I still believe that, obviously, and it's one of the things I'm proudest that we've done as administration is we've told Europe that if you want to buy weapons, you can, but the United States is not buying weapons and sending them to Ukraine anymore. We're just out of that business. It's a very good thing. But these Ukrainian American, again, a kind person, they probably didn't vote for me after this conversation, but he was kind of sticking his finger in my face saying, you need to support my country. You need to support my country. And I said, sir, with all due respect, if you're an American, your country is the United States of America, not a place that you immigrated from, whenever that was. And it occurred to me, and I know this is the last question, I'll try to be quick here, but it occurred to me that my father-in-law, who came from India, who moved to the United States, who got an education and became an American citizen, that never once in my life has he ever said, you have to do this or you should do this because it's in the best interest of the country that I came from. And I think that attitude, to the extent that attitude dominates among the new generation of Americans, that makes Americans feel welcoming towards people, because everybody, again, whether your family's been here for 300 years or 1 second, to be an American means to look out for Americans first, and that's the perspective we have to take to our immigration policy. Thank you.
All right, well said. He always does a great job talking to the American people about American first, being American first. It's true. If you're an American citizen now, your country is no longer the country of origin. It's never forgotten. You never forget your roots. But it's not it's not America's obligation to support any country unless there's some sort of good deal in the process. I'm all about having and making good deals. All right, next. This is the Mexican president, the cartel puppet. Mexican President Sheinbaum shatters the wall of silence. I am against the American-Israeli war axis. Bombing schools full of girls is not self-defense. It is a full-fledged war crime. You know, nobody wants children to suffer. Nobody wants schools or hospitals to be targeted or involved in any type of attack. But you have to tell the full story here. She goes on to say this: whoever calls the killing of children self-defense is an agent of genocide, and whoever remains silent about it is an accomplice in the blood. Oh, says the cartel puppet of Mexico. I love that she just stands on her soapbox and acts so righteous. But she refuses to go against cartel in Mexico. Anyway, who destroy families all the time in America. Also who traffic children across the border. But, you know, who am I to speak against a president of Mexico? The other thing, too, is these terrorists, these extremists, like to camp out near these schools and hospitals so that they can point the finger at America and Israel. Go ahead and play this despicable clip.
Se imponen los países con mayor fuerza militar.
All right, never mind. I had enough of that. Next. Let's go with this clip here. An effort is underway to fire the Senate parliamentarian. President Trump posts the Senator Marsha Blackburn wants to term limit her so she can be removed. Remove her and pass Save America. Elizabeth McDonough has been there for 14 years, and by her decree, she initially blocked some aspects of the DHS reconciliation bill, the ballroom security funds, and even some of the big, beautiful bill from last year. Trump is right. Senate Majority Leader John Thune should immediately fire the parliamentarian who treats Republicans and everything they stand for horribly. I don't think we need to play that one. She just needs to be out. Let's do the next one. This morning, I'm thrilled to sign the Secure America Act to immediately and fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of my term. Let's take a look at what the president says.
This morning, I'm thrilled to sign the Secure America Act to immediately and fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of my term. So we won't have that to be talking about anymore, Lisa.
No, we will not, sir.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are. They're heroes for what they have to go through to keep us safe, the support and resources they need to defend our borders, protect our homeland, and to keep America safe. This morning, I'm thrilled.
All right, well, let's do that. Let's secure the border, keep America safe, and I don't see anything wrong with that. You lock the door at night, don't you? Make sure your windows are locked. Yeah, let's do it. Next. All right, we're getting into the U.S.-Iran attacks. So everybody, I've seen so many clips, and by the way, there's a lot of people that have turned on the president that were all about President Trump when he was running because Biden was terrible. And now they're freaking out and turning on him, saying, how many times have we won this war? How many times has the war been over? How many times has Iran surrendered and been decimated? And on and on and on. Well, here, the issue is Iran's military and leadership has been dismantled, and they are poorly, they're just not able, I guess, to negotiate, because they come to the negotiation table, it looks like we have an agreement, and then all of a sudden they're shooting down American Black Hawk helicopters, and they're saying it's a mistake. Now, there was I can't talk today, but there was strikes in retaliation against Iran, and it's, prompted another response today. And it looks like the president is a little bit upset with Iran. So Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has said earlier today that he's going to be very busy tonight because they're going to be attacking Iran. Let's go ahead and cue that one up if you have it ready. CENTCOM will be busy tonight. We will be hitting Iran hard. We will bomb key facilities in Iran. Announcing the strikes before they happen is itself the strategy. You don't telegraph a bombing campaign hours in advance unless the message matters more than the surprise. This is the final pressure play in its purest form. The bombs are loaded, the targets are picked, and the paper is still on the table waiting for signature. So I'm assuming they're waiting for these whoever the leaders are anymore, whoever's negotiating needs to come to the table ASAP. But it's my opinion. Listen, let the bombs fly, take care of business, because Iran continues to mess around. And for Americans, I think we all agree we want this to be over, and we want oil prices to come way down. Let's go ahead and play it.
We just got done with detailed briefings, but of course he is busy because CENTCOM, Central Command, will be busy tonight, because President Trump said we will be hitting Iran hard, and we will be. Because Iran has a chance to make a good deal, a great deal, to codify what they said they've been willing to do, and they haven't been willing to do it. They
haven't been willing to do it. They're playing games, or they just don't know what they're doing. One side of the military has no idea what the other side is doing, or it's just completely fractured, and they don't know who's in charge. But the missiles keep flying on their end, and they're not making good on their deal. So I just think we completely take over. And, it's easy said than done, because I'm sitting here on a nice, comfy table, and I'm not really making the calls. Anyways, next. We hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers, because you know what? They dealt with some very stupid people, presidents. Yeah. That sends them cash, pallets of cash, by the way. It's unbelievable. Go ahead and play it.
I've been working with Iran for a number of months, and they should sign their deal. It's a good deal. It doesn't give them the right to have a nuclear weapon. In fact, it totally prohibits them from ever having a nuclear weapon. And it was just tap, tap, tap. I don't know what they're doing. So they then shot at our helicopter, very expensive helicopter, by the way, but much more importantly, the two men, fortunately, they're okay. But an amazing rescue. If you ever get a clip, you won't believe the rescue, how cool it was. The equipment we have. Look, we have the strongest military in the world. And I gave them a break at the request of Pakistan. The Field Marshal and the Prime Minister of Pakistan are great. We stopped them from going to war with India. You would have had a nuclear war if it wasn't for me. Yeah. But they became friendly to me, very friendly, and they're close to Iran, and they worked and they still are working on trying them to do what's right. But we want a deal that's meaningful. We want a deal that works. We don't want to just have a Barack Hussein Obama deal, JCPOA, the worst deal. That was a path to a nuclear. It's the exact opposite. You know, I like on television say, oh, they should have kept that deal. First of all, it was over. It was a short-term deal. But that deal was a path to a nuclear weapon. This is a path against a nuclear. You can't have a nuclear weapon. His was a path to a nuclear weapon. They were developing during his administration nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, there'd be no Israel, there'd be no Middle East, and they would have absolutely shot at us. So we'll see what happens. But we hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today, in case you miss it, in case you don't turn on your television set. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers because, you know what? They dealt with some very stupid presidents. I have to say that. I'm embarrassed to say it. Some very stupid people were sitting there.
Yeah, like $4 billion or whatever it was just for the deal to end. The deal was over, and it was a deal towards a nuclear weapon, which is absolutely crazy. Now, this is actively happening now. So by the time you watch this, if you're watching live, strikes are probably happening as we speak. So let's continue to get to the news as it comes in. What do we have next? It is official. CENTCOM confirms American forces began striking multiple targets across Iran at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. So it's already happened. It's by Trump's direct order, citing Tehran's unwarranted and continued aggression. They just don't get it. I don't know that they realize we're not playing around. They're about to find out. Roll it.
U.S. airstrikes against Iranian targets have begun. U.S. Central Command says forces began launching additional self-defense strikes today at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time against multiple targets in Iran. And it tells me here we are going to take it around the table. Jesse, you had sources saying that this might be happening?
Well, apparently the Iranians 2 weeks ago sent us a proposal, and that's when Trump was in the Situation Room, and everybody wanted it done, but he had two minor things he wanted to amend, so he sends it back, and he waits 2 weeks. 2 weeks for a response. Meanwhile, in those 2 weeks, they're shooting down helicopters. So unacceptable. I don't think he's going to tolerate this much anymore. So you're going to see a series of aerial strikes tonight, and we'll see if that kind of shakes loose some of these negotiations.
Well, something is going to have to happen because it's definitely causing a lot of frustration on our behalf, and I think enough's enough. Yeah, you guys can, those influencers that are turning on this president, this administration, you'll finally see something that's going to make you happy, I think, or nothing will make you happy unless it gets you clicks. That's just how it seems, the way things go. All right, next. Iran is now proclaiming to entirely shut down the Strait of Hormuz, except they don't realize that the U.S. controls the strait, and President Trump has been taking out oil for weeks. The mullahs are in way over their heads. I know somebody named Mullah. Last month, I directed our great U.S. military to execute a secret mission to support oil tankers and other commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Today, I'm pleased to announce that this effort has resulted in more than 100 million barrels of oil making its way through the strait and into the open market. More than 200 commercial ships have safely traveled through the strait. This widely successful effort is because, it's a video. I'll let it play.
You know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now.
Yeah, crazy.
We took out the other night 22 ships, late at night with no lights, because they don't have any radar, because we blasted the crap out of it. We took out, that's why oil's $85 a barrel. I mean, you take a look. Remember when I did this, I said, look, the one bad thing will be we hit the best economy we've ever hit. And I said to my people, I had Scott, I had Howard, I had Pete, I had all of them. I had Todd in the room. I said, the one thing we have to do now, we had just hit the highest stock market in history, highest 401ks in history. Everything was going well. And I said, I hate to do this to you guys, but Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon very soon. We have to go and attack. So we hit them with the B-2 bombers, which took a lot of courage. It was totally successful. We buried it, very hard to get. But now we had to make the second move. And I said, you know, the bad part is the stock market will go down by a lot based on predictions of.
All right, so he's basically explaining that everything was going great and they had to take military action. And so there you have it. That's pretty much where things were then, and now here we are. We're having to take care of Iran, and they're taking millions of barrels, apparently, according to the president, 2 hours ago that he said this, and Iran didn't even know about this. So we've been taking millions and millions of barrels of oil straight out of the Strait of Hormuz. They don't even know about it because they don't have radars. So I think it's just time to put a lid on it, close things out, and yeah. The only thing is that there's allies of Iran like Pakistan and others, but I'm pretty sure we can make them happy in other ways. All right, next. We're talking about giving something back to the public, and if we do that, the public will become very rich. Oh, we're looking at AI right now. I can't see the very top on the screen, but it says it is the future and will be good in good hands. And it says listen closely to what the president says about AI. Roll it.
Companies, and what could this partnership look like?
About AI? Well, I can say this. We're having a meeting with them. It's an amazing industry. It's bigger than any industry anyone's ever seen. We are leading China by a lot. And, you know, whoever leads that is going to really lead the world to a large extent. That's how big it is. And I'm going to have meetings with the top 12 or 15 executives very shortly. And we're talking about giving back something to the public. And if we do that, the public will become very rich, the people in our country, because that's the kind of money we're talking about. And I think they'll do that, and I think it'll make it very popular.
What would you like that? Companies, and what could
So the future is AI and data centers. Something to keep an eye on is how you can be a data center yourself. Like, we're all energy producers and consumers. What if data centers got smart and started, using all residents of different cities to store data, to be a little data hub themselves? You may have a little computer in your house or outside next to your AC unit that's like a mini data pod or node, and they pay you for it. Or you're some sort of, you get an investment piece, part of your 401k or some sort of stock that you own in these data companies, and you invest into AI. Maybe there's a government program that you and I can participate in. I like the idea of becoming rich. Yes, your riches are in heaven. Great is your reward in heaven. But while I'm here, I want to eat good. I want to travel well and live comfortably. I think you all could say amen to that. All right, next. FBI raid of an unlicensed biolab in a Las Vegas home linked to the Chinese Communist Party found thousands of vials of blood and tissue. Genetically engineered mice were designed to carry COVID. Yeah, of course. Tests showed the vials contained COVID, hepatitis, and malaria. What? I mean, come on. That's like 5 hours away from us. This is ridiculous. Go ahead and play it.
New at 2, we're half past the hour. A possible biological lab inside a Las Vegas home now under investigation. A federal investigation. Agents seizing vials of unknown liquids and probing a potential link to a Chinese national accused of running a similar lab in California that held deadly pathogens. Our senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse is reporting live on this out of Los Angeles for us. Hello, William.
Well, Sandra, two amazing things about this story. One, the man who owns that Vegas lab, he's a Chinese scientist linked to the CCP, is and has been in jail the last 3 years. Secondly, the lab is not an FDA licensed facility, but it's in a house in Vegas, raided Saturday morning by the FBI, SWAT pulling out boxes of what police believe are hazardous biological agents and pathogens, normally found in a secure university or industrial lab with airlocks designed to prevent an outbreak.
Almost immediately, investigators observed multiple refrigerators, a freezer, and other laboratory-type equipment, along with numerous bottles and jugs containing unknown liquid substances.
So the Vegas lab, according to police, belongs to 62-year-old Zhu Baiju, a Chinese national and a fugitive who also goes by the alias David He. He was arrested in 2023 for manufacturing unlicensed medical devices and lying about unapproved HIV and pregnancy test kits that he was selling. He also operated this illicit biolab in an abandoned warehouse in Reedley, California, where investigators found thousands of vials of blood and tissue, 1,000 genetically engineered mice designed to carry the COVID virus, and CDC tests did show the vials contained HIV, COVID, hepatitis, herpes, and malaria. Police arrested Zhu, and he's been in jail ever since. Congressional investigators linked the lab to the Chinese Communist Party, a tie that also suggests the same people are behind the Vegas lab.
What do we think these people were doing with those substances in the house? And I'll tell you, the truth is we don't know yet.
So House investigators say Zhu got financing from mainland China to create dozens of companies here and Canada. He employed mostly Chinese nationals to steal American intellectual property and transfer it to China. His trial begins in April.
Imagine being so ridiculous about immigration reform, and you're like, let people in. They need a chance. They need to live the American dream. We should allow them to come, open the border. And then you got a Chinese nationalist from the CCP creating labs with malaria, HIV, hepatitis, COVID, God knows whatever else, and it's all in your neighborhood. Yeah, I think we need stronger border security. I think we need to crack down on other nationalists from China, from Iran, from any other country that they like. It's just unbelievable to me that this is not important to some people. Maybe they're just deranged. They have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Next. President Trump just signed $100 million in funding for child exploitation investigations to save kids from, you guessed it, sex trafficking. Every single Democrat voted against this, by the way. Thank you, President Trump. $100 million in funding for children exploitation investigations. That means funds, resources, and money can go to these investigations, saving more children and their lives. The atrocities against the innocent, against children, against women, because of drug cartels, because of cartel members, because of idiot-type people that live in this country, either illegally or legally, quite frankly. They're all in it. They're all part of this horrific, horrific crime. And now there's $100 million going towards fighting it. Thank the Lord. All right, this one is not, I'm not too excited about showing, but this is the truth. Mayor Mamdani announced $15 million. So you got the president, $100 million towards sex trafficking. You got Mamdani sending $15 million for gender-affirming care services at a pride event at New York City Hall. Congratulations, New York. This is what you voted for. Gender-affirming care. There's $15 million of your tax, your hard-earned money, and that's going towards gender-affirming care. Priorities, guys. Next. Or not? What do we got? Oh, this is another one. Okay, this is Texas Judge Denise Hernandez delivers a Braveheart-esque line at the pride flag raising of Travis County. They may try to take away our sidewalks or drag shows, but they will never take away our queer resilience and queer joy. Oh my goodness. Play it.
My name's Denise Hernandez, and I am your proud, openly gay judge of County Court at Law number 6.
Somebody vote this lady out.
And in Travis County, we have this tradition. We gather in community and we raise our pride flag as an act of solidarity, as a way of showing that we all belong, that we are a community, we are a familia, and we take care of each other. Because pride is so much more than a flag. and a parade. It is about all of us showing up together to take care of each other. That's what it's about. And I'm so proud to be a part of Travis County, where we make this commitment. Every year, we do this together. It doesn't matter what's happening at the state level or at the federal level. We show up here and we raise that flag every year. They may try to take.
All right, I can't listen to this anymore. Oh, wait. Actually, never mind.
Our drag shows, but they will never take away our queer resilience and our queer joy. Never.
All right, that's good. That was very, you know what? Whatever, needs to get in their Subaru and go cry in the car. Besides, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? Like, anyway, okay, I'll stop. That's crazy. Why did we play that one? Next. Father Dan Rehill compares Disclosure Day, director Steven Spielberg to the Antichrist. Oh, the Exorcist for the Diocese of Nashville questioned why Spielberg would make a film about aliens that would shake people's faith in God. Spielberg said this film would shake the faith of many people and have them question their belief in God. This seems like something the Antichrist would do. There appears to be pushback from religious leaders as UFO disclosures escalates. This is the design, by the way, of media and Hollywood to discredit the existence of God. So even this exorcist from the Diocese of Nashville should know that this is the design of Satan to discredit Jesus through media. And, you know, this whole alien conversation, you even got alien experts that are saying, I would be careful talking about J.D. Vance to call these demons. And you know, anyways, they are demons. We already know this. We already know that there are spawns of Satan that have revealed themselves. Let's go ahead and play this.
Tomorrow, there's a new Steven Spielberg movie coming out called Disclosure Day. And he said something very odd. He said that this film will shake the faith of many people, or have people re-question their belief in God and their religion. First of all, I think perhaps he underestimates most people's faith. But right. Second of all, why would you make a movie with the distinct outcome being people's faith would be shaken or lost? That seems very much
Hollywood-esque.
Like something the Antichrist would do, or Satan. You know, that's been his game since the garden. You know, try to strip man from faith in God and then have man lose his place in heaven. So, you know, I don't know. He's been shaking the alien tree for probably 30 years now. I don't know when E.T. came out, but I'm guessing it's 30, 40 years ago. And other movies, including, I forget what the other one was called. He's been in this realm for a long time. So this is going to be another one.
All right. Well, that's what's coming out. I mean, the job of these people is to discredit Christ, and don't get blindsided by this alien conversation. I really do think they're going to reveal some weird stuff. It's already coming out, but we all know what it is, and we need to stay focused. And when the rapture comes, that's who they're going to blame. When the rapture of the church, or the taking away of God's people, that's what they're going to say. Alien invasion wiped out a massive amount of people. All right. I believe this is on Christian persecution. Yes, the 101-year-old Talata Chief, or Chef Street Gabriel Church, has been burned to the ground by Islamists in Ethiopia. Along with torching the church, they murdered dozens of innocent Christians. Where is the outrage? This is what I'm talking about, folks. There's a lot happening across the world, and a lot in Africa specifically, because there's Islamist extremists that are killing Christians every day. Now, more and more, every day. We're probably just going to bring in a new report every day we do this show, because it just keeps coming in, burning down churches and killing innocent people. I don't know that. I'm not sure what the The videos are play a little bit of it. Just hear it. You don't have to go full screen. Just play a little bit of it. All right, you guys can pause it there. As you see, the church is burning down there. Ethiopia has been under a lot of persecution for many, many years. We have friends that have seen revival in Ethiopia by the millions, but yet faced massive amounts of persecution. Even some of the Teclamarian family, as we know, they've experienced their family members being murdered right in front of their eyes, children being taken from them and doing the most horrific things to them. That is the reality of this world and what's happening to Christians. So we need to pray. We need to continue to pray, partner with some organizations that are good organizations that are supporting them. And I pray that the president continues to offer support to combat these extremists, these terrorists, these Islamist extreme terrorists that go out and kill Christians. It needs to stop. And we at least need to do something about it. Yes, we can pray, but there needs to be action. All right, this is a good story where this young lady is speaking against babies being killed through abortions. It says, Addison Woosley, a brave 13-year-old girl, stood in front of a city council to speak out for babies killed in abortions. She says abortion is murder. Go ahead and roll it.
Or Creek Moss Avenue, and my name is Addison Woosley. I strongly believe that abortion is murder. I also believe murder is wrong, so I'm here to ask you to make abortion illegal in Raleigh. Abortion should be illegal because it's murder. The definition of murder is the killing of one human being by another without justification and often with intended malice. When mothers choose to slaughter their innocent babies, they already have fingerprints, noses, they can recognize their mom's voice, they can hiccup, and their heart is beating. On ultrasounds, the baby tries to move away from the disturbing instruments they used to kill the baby. The baby's mouth opens wide in a scream when being killed. These babies are alive. They feel being killed. It hurts them, and there's nothing they can do about it. There's no way around it. Abortion or Creek Moss Avenue. My name is...
Great job, Addison, for stepping out. You can even hear some hecklers in the back, or I think they were, and there's some supporters, of course. It's going to take a generation like that that's going to have to fight evil. As evil happens more and more in our faces through media, and just, I think the tension's gonna grow. But there's a revival in the land amongst this generation, and I'm all for it. We are seeing such an amazing move of God across this nation and across the world. Now, evil will be there, but God's Spirit is also here, and we got to continue to believe God for the amazing movement of His gospel across the land. All right, I think we got one more story, and we'll end it with that. And this business owner is taking his the Word of God and Bible verses and putting it on every home they develop. This home development company has been facing thousands mixed feelings towards their announcement, stating all of their houses will be made with the Bible verses integrated into them. Go ahead and roll it. You don't have to go full screen. Just stay there.
We're putting Bible verses on every Calvary home driveway, guys. Now, I want to make sure you guys understand that Calvary Home is for everybody. Anybody can purchase a Calvary home. Now, this is not your cup of tea. We completely respect and understand that. That is your choice, and there are other developers out here you can choose from. But for Calvary Homes, we will stand firm on Jesus Christ, because that is who we love, that is who we serve, and this is His company. We're just managers and stewards of what He's entrusted us with, and so we want to glorify Him in every single project. Calvary Homes is His company. We're putting Bible verses on every Calvary.
Dedicating everything that you do unto the Lord. And they are developing homes. These homes will probably be godly homes where the Bible will be read. God will be worshiped and prayed to. I love that. Love God-fearing companies like that. All right. That's all we have time for. But I want to thank all of our ministry partners, our partners that have joined us early on to develop Political Pulpit and this media company. We are launching Fresh Fire Ministries, and I hope and pray that our ministry partners that want to join us will get involved and help us advance the kingdom of God through media, through preaching the gospel, through the airwaves, the sound waves, and all the other waves. We're just grateful for all of you. Be sure to join us at politicalpulpit.com/partner and subscribe to all of our channels. Thank you, everybody, and God bless.